Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Holtzman Zone. I'm back on the beach in Hermosa Beach, California. And today I want to give you a tour of some of the homes on the Strand. So hopefully you can see some of these beautiful residences on the Strand. Each one is different. Some of them are older, some of them have been torn down when modern homes have been put up. These are completely unobstructed views. Unobstructed views of the Pacific Ocean. This looks like a duplex. More than one family lives in this one, perhaps. They're all unique in their own way. And they're very beautiful. Wow. Back in the day, I guess in the late 60s, or maybe even the early 70s, you could get a residence here on the Strand for, I don't know, before the big real estate boom. You could get an old bungalow for $150,000 or $200,000, you know. And today, of course, it's 5 or 6 million, 20 million. I've seen them for 20 million. The bigger the lot, of course, the more expensive. But people live in these homes now. They can't afford to buy these homes if they had left these homes. I think one of the rules, one of the building codes is if you completely demolish a home and build a brand new one, then you're subject to the high taxes for that new home. But if you leave one wall standing, I think you're pretty much grandfathered in, and you retain that same tax penalty. I'm walking on the sand, and this is deep sand. This is real deep sand here in Southern California. As you can see, the older ones. As we get further down, you'll see still got some duplexes going on. Looks like more than one family residences. And people ride their bike and walk their dog. And they jog and they rollerblade on the Strand. It's pretty nice. During the 4th of July, they come out here on the beach and they can see the fireworks. There's an American flag, very nice. Now here's a corner one. This is the first true single family home. How'd you like to live there? Definitely need help keeping that residence clean. The only problem with living next to the beach is everything is kind of damp. Everything is kind of, and the smell. Sometimes you might get the smell of the low tide. So if you don't mind that, you really have to be a beach person. Look how huge this one is. This is a single family home, just huge. Look at all the different architectures. But they've got about as much room between the residents as I do between my mobile home and my neighbor. Now you have to ask yourself, you must really have to want to love the beach, because if I had the kind of money to buy one of these residences, I certainly would want more elbow room. Now, a lot of people do buy them and rent them out. A lot of people with the kind of money it takes to purchase one of these homes or build one of these homes have more than one home, and a lot of times they're never even there. But each one is different and unique, and just beautiful. So I walk every morning, and this is part of my walk when I go this route. But if you can believe it, some of them look like buildings, but they're single dwellings, and then you have the walk street. These are the walk streets that go between the residences. Okay. And what a walk street is, it's a pedestrian, for pedestrians only, no vehicles. And they're pretty common over here near the beach. They call them walk streets. Look how big this one is, my word. So if it has one address, it's usually one single family home. Look at this one. Somebody said, I want to build a skyscraper on the beach. And they did. That's probably not going to make his... Now the zoning is different for each city. I know in Manhattan Beach there's a height limit. If they go over that height limit, they'll have the contractors tear it down. Here's an older one perhaps. Look at that beautiful shade tree. A natural umbrella. God, I hope they never cut that down. If I lived there and they cut that tree down, I would be terribly disappointed, to say the least. Here's a little older one, bungalow type one. And then we have some real modern ones coming up. If you're just tuning in, this is Southern California, Hermosa Beach, California, 10 miles.
Hey man, put pants on. You shouldn't do that naked.
He was only kidding. I have pants on. Look at this modern architecture. Look at that. Just bring money. Just bring money. You mean you want to put like a viewing deck sticking out from the main residence? Yes, I do. Well, that's gonna be a lot more money. Now look at this one over here. This is like the kind of like an Addams Family home. They have one of these in Manhattan Beach. It must be the same contractor. It looks like Gothic. It looks like it should be in Transylvania. And a lot of people have to build these houses. Their accountants tell them, you know, you have too much money. You have millions and millions of dollars. You have to buy artwork. You have to build a house. You have to do something, or else you'll just have to give it over to Uncle Sam. So in a lot of cases, this is what they do. Look at that beautiful home. Completely unobstructed views of the beautiful Pacific Ocean. And you gotta like people to a certain extent, because in the summertime it gets crowded with foot traffic and people on the beach. So I love the beach, but not side by side this close. Heck no. You might as well live in a mobile home like I do if you want to live that close to a resident. Very nice. Another simple one. And they just squeeze them in. They just squeeze them in. Here's another one. Some of these could be, well, I see 318. If you just see one address number. Up in Carmel, the homes don't even have numbers. They just have names. I guess the firemen know the names of the residences, but they don't have numbers on their homes in Carmel. Look at this one. Yeah, that's a single family home. You can believe it. Nice dolphin decoration in the yard. And look at this one over in the back. That's why I love carpentry. Carpentry, you can do anything with a piece of wood. It's just beautiful. I think that's why I like bonsai so much. You can't do anything wrong. If you break a branch or you remove the wrong branch, you can always, the plants will grow back. It's no big deal, but if you're working with wood, it's got to be just right. You got to be good at math. You've got to be, or else you'll wind up with a pile of scrap wood because nothing fit the way it was supposed to fit. So I admire carpenters to be able to take some raw stock off a truck. That's one of the reasons it's so terribly interesting to watch construction sites. The infrastructure is just amazing, the way they build the safety railings and ladders to get up where they're working, and they're just talented people. You just dump a load of wood off on the street and they could build you a house and know just how to do it. Yeah. If I had one thing that I wish I was good at, I had a guy in the Air Force, John Loffrey was his name, and he was very good in the Air Force because he never opened his mouth. So the TI, the drill instructor, never really knew who he was, and that was his way to keep under the radar. Never opened his mouth. And he had a room in the barracks, and he took some wood and he made a bunk bed on the top and a desk underneath. And they came in to inspect his room, and they were very, very thrilled with what he had done in such a small space. Put his bed up top. That would free up. By doing that, he freed up the. Here's another walk street. Here's another walk street. And a water fountain. You gotta watch your step when you're doing this kind of filming. You could fall and crack your nose. Here's the walk street. And so by building that bunk bed, John Loffrey over in Okinawa, he was able to free up his floor space, and he made a desk underneath the bunk bed, and it was just professionally done, and it was real nice. Really inventive, very inventive. So these are some of the homes. Pretty big, huh? Want a big house? Want a big house? Well, you want to go up at least high enough where you can see the ocean pretty good, because as you can see, this beach has a little bit of a curve on it, so you can't see the waves breaking. So by going up a little bit further, it'll enable you to see that waves as they crash. Every beach is different, has a different contour to it. The beach in Manhattan is kind of flat. The homes on the Strand can see. Look at that one. That's a new thing where they cut a piece out of the ceiling to let the sun come in. I've seen that. That's pretty popular. Here's an older one. And here's one of these Gothic type ones under construction. We got a few more homes to go and I'll be at the end. Then the boat docks, the Redondo Beach Harbor boats, and the yacht club starts. So look at this one. That one's under construction. They don't want anybody to see what they're doing under there. And it protects the workers from the sun. And look at this one on the edge. Whoa, look at that. These homes are all wood, but they put that mesh over the wood and they add the concrete mix and they make it look like concrete. But all these homes are made of wood to begin with. Look at the lions. Nice, huh? I'm going to the beach house this weekend, Martha. Are you coming? Another walk street. Here's an older type one for you. See, this is probably what they looked like back in the 60s, late 50s, 70s. Now here's one that looks like an apartment. I don't think this is single family. But the rents, I mean, just to live on these beaches, we got about maybe 15 more homes before it ends. I'm at 14 minutes, so I hope I'm not keeping too much of your time. There's a nice little one. Here's one here. Yeah, this just gives you an idea of what it was like back in the day. This was the type of house that was here, probably up and down and all around, until well, some people with a bag of money came to town. Trust funds, inheritances, successful business, movie people. I'm told Jimmy Kimmel lives on the Strand in Hermosa Beach. He's never told me personally, so anything you hear is always, as they say in the courtroom, hearsay. You can believe it, or you cannot believe it. It's up to you. Or you can Google it. I think that's what they're doing. Here's another one with a USC flag. USC stands for, what does it stand for again? I forget. It's a comical comma, like Ford, fix on a daily basis. Or Delta, don't expect your luggage to, whatever it is. Here's another older one. A lot of them had decks. We got about 5 more homes. Hang in there. Look, there's a dog on the beach. That's illegal, but I'm not going to say a word. I'm not working anymore. You know? Yeah, if one of these people will see a dog on the beach, they'll call the animal control or the 911, and they'll report it to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher will report it to the officer in the field, and they'll come out and chase the dog off the beach. A lot of times they have service animals. It's a big thing today. You go up to them, you're not allowed to ask them. You just simply ask them and they'll say it's a service animal, and then they're unmolested and you walk away, which is fine with me. I don't want any trouble. Here's a little house. Little house here. We're just coming to the end now. Oh, and here's a nice, this reminds me of Montauk, Long Island. Maybe Long Island you'd see a house like this with the umbrellas. And here's a modern one. I like the big windows, the big round windows. Somebody knew how to measure, somebody who knew what they were doing, you know, because woodworking is like that. Don't forget, these are all wood before they look like concrete. And if it's just not right, it's just not gonna be right. Inches don't lie, feet don't lie. So I admire all the woodworkers out there. I'm not talking about the guys that make bears out of logs of wood with chainsaws. I'm talking about carpenters. And that's it. The last house. The last house. And then over here is that big power plant we were talking about in a previous video. And I'll do a walk around that one time. And those are the electric lines that go way up the hill. And I live up and over the hill. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tours of the houses, the dogs on the beach, the sand, the sky, blue sky, the pier, and until next time.